Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mark Ellert here, and thanks for tuning in. Because today, our story time is about an adventure that this blind man had the other day. But the point of the adventure is that I chose to respond to the situation and not react to it. Some of you know I lost my vision 20 years ago because of a traumatic brain injury. It took me a lot to rehabilitate myself, but I'm very high functioning and independent. I've had my own apartment for almost 10 years now, live by myself, and I'm doing good. So the other day when this blind man who lives by himself went to go make dinner, I had a situation happen. I had a half pound of some pulled chicken and I had a can of beets, and I thought those would go good together. But once I put the can of beets in and then dumped the chicken on top and microwaved it, it didn't taste right. I realized it tasted way too sweet, and I realized I put a can of peaches in with my pulled chicken. So when I realized that, I reacted. I got upset and I got angry. I started calling myself names like, Mark, you fucked up. How did you do something so stupid? Did you really put a can of peaches in with your chicken? Now this is a whole waste. I started getting angry. I started getting upset. That was my reaction, everyone. I reacted, but I know reactions aren't going to help me. It's just going to put me in an emotional state and get angry. I was literally just going to get pissed off and throw away my dinner and completely make something all over again. Now, what's the point of that? That's really not going to help me, because all I would have done was just literally thrown away something. That would have been pointless. That was a half pound of chicken. That's $10 worth of chicken. And that was a whole can of peaches. I mean, I don't have anything against eating a can of peaches and some pulled chicken together. If I intended and I tried to do that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But because I was trying to put a can of beets in there and it was actually peaches instead, that is no reason for me to get extremely angry and upset about it. Because what's the point in throwing away a meal that is completely fine? It's just a waste of money and a waste of time. Then I mean, groceries are expensive. What's the point in throwing that whole meal away just out of anger and spite that I put the wrong thing in it? Because I don't have a problem with peaches and chicken. I mean, I could just pretend that it's sweet and sour chicken, like it's some Asian food or something, you know? It's not a big deal. So for me to get that bent out of shape and angry about it, it's not fair to me. I mean, I'm already the one dealing with the situation, the fact that my dinner is screwed up. What's the point in taking it out on myself? What's the point in throwing away my dinner, wasting my time and money, making a whole different dinner just out of spite and anger? Because then the whole night, basically, that's all I'm going to think about. I'm going to ruminate the whole night about it and just be pissed off and angry and kicking stones and just be like, wow, you screwed up your dinner. How can you do something so stupid? And I won't be able to let go of it. That's when I react, everyone. So it's better to respond. I first started getting angry, but then I backed it up and I laughed about it. I'm like, you know what, Mark? You put a can of peaches in with your chicken, it sucks, but that's life. You know what? Things happen. Because, I mean, you have a system and everything, but, you know, not everything is perfect. Hell, even scientists can tell you. People who went to college that have a degree, people with lab coats, they can tell you in a science lab, perfect is impossible. You cannot do 100% of the time, 100% of the time. You're not going to get everything right every time. Perfect is physically impossible. Scientists have proven this in a laboratory. You can't recreate the same thing perfect every time. So perfect isn't possible, everyone. Don't expect that from yourself. Don't set the bar too high. Use your mistakes as a learning curve. Use it as a way to learn from our mistakes. I mean, after I realized it was a can of peaches, I know exactly what happened and why. So I can use it as a learning curve. I can just remember what happened and how I can avoid this for the future. It's not good to get pissed off and bent out of shape for no reason. It's not fair to make myself the victim when I can just deal with the situation. So that's what I did, everyone, is I just tried to laugh about it. Rather than throw my dinner away and get pissed, I laughed about it. I just chuckled and just, man, you put a can of peaches in with your chicken. And the whole time I was eating it, I was just trying to imagine it was some Chinese food, some sweet and sour chicken or something, you know? Because there's nothing wrong with it, everybody. As humans, we can all make mistakes. It's not easy and it's not possible for us to be perfect. It's really good to have some self-forgiveness and some self-compassion. I mean, we can all make mistakes, everyone. It's good for me to sneak into that mindset and not beat myself up and expect perfect from me. It's like, dude, Mark, you're someone that has a brain injury. You went blind 20 years ago from a traumatic brain injury. You have brain damage. You have amnesia. You have anxiety. You have a seizure disorder. I have reasons why I can be forgetful and forget things. I accidentally forgot. I put a can of peaches right next to my can of beans that I always have and everything. It's really not a big deal. It's not fair for me to blow it out of proportion and make it a big deal just to harbor all that anger towards myself and everything. It's better to be fair and compassionate and kind to ourselves, everyone. When you're going to be mean and beat yourself up, all it's going to do is ruin your night and make you think you're worthless and you can't do anything right. When you give yourself that compassion, you can be able to just forget about it and not let it ruin your night. You're not going to waste your time and your money. You're not going to beat yourself up and feel horrible about it. You lose it. You use it as a learning curve. You use it as a reason to just give yourself compassion and know, as humans, we're going to make mistakes. It's okay to just learn from our mistakes. Don't expect perfect from yourself, everyone. Everyone, the point of this is it's not good to react. When things happen and we realize what happened and we get upset about it, don't hold on to that anger and that resentment. Realize you're having a reaction. You're entitled to those emotions. You can get upset, but process it and work through it and move into that response. Choose to respond to the situation. Don't just focus on your reaction. When you start reacting, don't go full, don't hit the throttle and go for it. When you start reacting, realize it's a reaction and choose to respond. Be kind and compassionate to yourself. Really, really don't make it out of something disproportionate that's not fair to yourself, to just make yourself more angry and resentful, just to make yourself feel worse about it. Trust me, everyone, I've known. I was a very reactive person. I normally really react to things, but I learned how much it's better to respond to things. You choose some compassion and come down to the logic. Think it through and know why it happened. Give yourself some grace, some kindness and compassion, and understand why it happened. Don't just get angry at yourself and point out all the mistakes, everyone. We're human. It's okay for us to make mistakes. We can't do perfect. So everybody, respond with some kindness and some self-compassion. It's going to go a lot farther than reacting with self-anger and resentment. Trust me, everyone, I've learned. I hope you can learn too, everybody. Keep it sexy, be responsible, and responding. Everybody, I catch you on the flip side. Keep it sexy.